Cholera is a bacterial disease. It's caused by a bacteria known as Vibrio cholerae. Today we are going to talk about the symptoms of cholera. How do you know that someone is suffering from cholera? Symptoms are the signs of a certain disease or the manifestation of a disease on the outward body of an organism. The characteristics that you are able to see. Talk of profuse sweating, talk of fever, you can feel it, talk of diarrhea, you can be able to see that. So it is actually the physical manifestation of a certain disease. Before we talk about the symptoms of cholera, you need to understand that this parasite, Vibrio cholerae, has an incubation period between 1 and 6 days. Talking of the incubation period, I'm referring to the difference between the time when there is the first infection by the parasite to the first symptom. That is an incubation period. For example, a parasite has happened to enter into the biological system of an individual today. Then after 3 days, you will start seeing the first symptom. Therefore, we will say that it has an incubation period of 3 days. If it takes up to 14 days, then we say that it has an incubation period of 14 days. But in this case, it has an incubation period ranging between 1 to 6 days, but it's based on the magnitude of infection or the state of health of that individual. Talking of the magnitude of the infection, if two people have been exposed to the same type of parasite, for example, in body of patient A, only one parasite, Vibrio cholerae, was able to invade, while in the second person, that is patient B, we had up to 500 parasites of Vibrio cholerae invading the tissues of that person. Definitely, this person who is having a higher magnitude of infection will feel the symptoms faster. The incubation period will be so fast because the rate at which they are multiplying is also a bit higher, and the number will increase much more. They will start to produce their toxins in the body in large quantities, while this, only a single parasite, may take too long for it to produce quantifiable amount of toxins which will make an individual to start feeling the symptoms of this disease. So, when this parasite reach the small intestine, remember, they are ingested together with contaminated food. Then when they reach the small intestines, they will start to multiply rapidly. Why do you think they are multiplying rapidly? It's definitely because there is enough nutrients in the small intestine. That is the food that we eat. For example, you've eaten food rich in proteins, they will be getting those proteins directly from your small intestines. Before being absorbed, they eat the nutrients, hence they start to multiply rapidly, leading to an increase in the number. As they continue to multiply, they will also be producing some enzymes called enzyme mucinase. Mucinase, from the word mucin, which has been derived from the word mucus. It's a type of enzyme which is capable of digesting the inner lining of the intestine. And the inner lining of the intestine has got a certain membrane made up of mucus, whose function is to protect the intestinal walls from being acted upon by the dilute hydrochloric acid. So this mucosa membrane, or this mucus membrane, is digested by this enzyme produced by Vibrio cholerae. Once it has been digested, then it means that this mucus substances will be present in the feces of this individual. Then it leads to production of some watery feces called diarrhea, and in this case it appears to be having some substances which are like mucus. That is actually the mucosa membrane which has been digested from the inner wall of the intestines. So in this case, it may also be accompanied by vomiting of some mucus-like substances which are yellowish in color, and this is as a result of this mucous membrane which have been digested from the intestinal wall. Some of them may come out and get into the stomach from the small intestine, and when that happens, the stomach starts to feel like there is something wrong, because it is something foreign which is not supposed to be there, and it is not even supposed to go through the alimentary canal. Therefore, it is eliminated out through the mouth, and that process is called vomiting. So, I've already mentioned two symptoms, that is diarrhea and vomiting. Another one, there could be abdominal pain as a result of wounds which have been created in the inner lumen of the intestine. Hence, an individual may feel pain in such areas. Remember, when this intestinal wall have been digested, if those membranes have been digested, it causes irritation and damage to those intestinal walls. Hence, there is some pain which is felt by an individual. And besides, the fourth symptom is dehydration. Why do you think dehydration is a symptom of Vibrio cholerae being in the biological system of an individual? Definitely think of the process of diarrhea. It means that the water that we drink is not absorbed into the body tissues. Reaching the small intestine, it finds that there are so many parasites which have occupied those pores which we call the microvilli, and therefore there is no absorption. All that water that we have drunk will be eliminated out together with the fecal discharge. Then we refer to it as diarrhea. Since that is happening, the body will lack water, and that is what we refer to as dehydration. Lack of enough water in the body tissues, definitely in this case as a result of diarrhea. In extreme cases, this disease may lead to death within 24 hours, and the disease should be treated with immediate effect as soon as you feel the first symptom. That is the end of lesson number 83. Thanks for watching. Please remember to like and subscribe to my channel for new videos.